It said recording is in progress.
Good. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So attendees, okay, so we're getting everyone logging in. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. We'll give everyone a few more minutes since it's 6:01. Well, one more minute, see who else is going to join us, and then we'll get started. Okay, in a few more minutes. Or a few more seconds, really. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Okay. So it's about 6:02, and I want to start again by letting you all know that this meeting is being recorded. Okay, so the intention is to record this meeting, and any questions and answers that we are going to discuss later to save this for reference in the future. All right, so every one of these language workshops will be recorded. I want to say thank you to the audience for joining us. So far, I see a few people. There's about 9 of you. Hopefully more will join us. And then I'm going to start with the first slide, which is to give you a few Zoom meeting guidelines. All right. So today's meeting is in English, and so it'll be purely in English. Obviously, if anyone in the audience speaks a different language, one of the languages that we support at the Vote Centers, we do have our staff who can also provide that support. Otherwise, there'll be 13 additional voter language workshops in specific languages. Now, to be at this meeting, you had to pre-register, and that way you can receive the meeting link and also a calendar appointment so that you are reminded when to join this meeting. For tonight's meeting and every one of these, we'll have a Zoom moderator. The Zoom moderator will then make sure that we get your questions and then organize the questions so that I can answer the questions and also keep track of any questions you may have by raising your hand. Okay, and that's the next point I want to bring up. If you do want to say something, if you do want to make a comment or have a question to ask, please do raise your hand. Click on the button, on the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen for most of you. It should be under the reactions. Yep, it's called raise hand. And then Eric, our Zoom moderator today, will see that, and then he will let me know that someone has their hand raised and will let you then speak. If you have any questions, any messages you want to send to us via typing, via chat messages, do send those over. And then again, we'll look into those and then we'll organize them, we queue them and answer those questions. As I said earlier, this workshop is being recorded and we'll start shortly after 6 p.m. So it's already 6:05. I think we are pretty much ready to get started. At this point, there's about 11 of us. Okay, good. All right. And so what you see now on your screen is our flyer. So we have started to send out these flyers. You may have seen this photo, this image in a different format in our social media. We did start the advertisement of these classes a while ago, and so the goal, of course, is to always have more of you present. Now, what I want to show here today is just that it's an example for tomorrow's meeting. Okay.
Paolo, sorry to interrupt you, but you're actually not sharing right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. I thought I was. Give me a second. Okay. Huh. All right. Thank you for letting me know. So let me share this right now. Presentation mode again. Okay. All right, guys. Is it working now?
Yes, now we see the screen.
Thank you for letting me know. Out of the way. Okay, all right. So let me get started. Okay. And so again, these are the guidelines I just talked about. Do pre-register. If you have anyone, friends, families, anyone that is interested in joining these meetings, please have them pre-register. Okay, that's the best thing because then you get a reminder on your email box to join this meeting and the link allowing you to directly join the meeting. Again, if you do have any questions, do click on the raise hand button to speak so we can then see you on the queue and then let you come in and ask some questions. All right. More importantly, this workshop is being recorded. It'll be available to all of you, the audience, to see this at a later time. This is the Voter Language Workshop calendar. Now you can see it. It's also the flyer that we've been sending out to everyone. And as I was saying earlier, it's been presented in our social media in a different format, square or slightly different ratio, so that people can see all of our workshops. Bottom right, or excuse me, bottom left, you can see the QR code. That's for anyone to really point your camera, scan the code, and then take into this link. And then at that link, they'll see the calendar. You can then click on one of those languages to take you to the Zoom page where you can then pre-register so that you receive the link close to the actual workshop day. Okay, so it's a great thing to have. These QR codes are very nice to have. Be sure to use them. And traditionally, or the way we do this really is to have a presenter. For example, tonight will be my turn. And then we'd have if tonight was a bilingual presenter, or in other words, for example, tomorrow night will be our Chinese presentation, will be Ruth. And then I believe it will be Jose presenting in English. And then, for example, Alea will be doing the Zoom facilitation. Okay. Again, at the end of every one of these workshops, we'll have a Q&A session for all of you to put in your questions. More importantly, though, I want to remind all of you that everything that we're going to talk about here today, everything that I have to share with you, you can already find that at our website. Okay, so you can visit www.sccvote.org to find the latest information about voting in Santa Clara County. And so remember, though, that the law asks us to do things to follow the election code, and that's exactly what we do. And you can find that information right there on our webpage. And so let's move on to the actual election. So all of you know, all of you are excited, all of you are ready for this. We have the March 5th, 2024 presidential primary election that is happening in less than 2 months now, obviously, about a month and a half. And so the deadlines are coming in fast, okay? Now, the last day to register technically is February 19th, 2024, but that lands for this year, lands on President's Day. And so because it's a holiday, we're extending that deadline to the next business day, which would be Tuesday, February 20th. All right, so then all voters do have a chance to register to vote and even update their voting information. Let's say they moved, let's say they changed their name legally and so forth. They can do that up until 5 p.m. February 20th if they come to our office, okay? Some of the things you can do online, like registering to vote, you can do online. You can just follow the link on our webpage. You can also go visit Secretary of State's webpage. Also, because all of you, all 1 million voters in this county receive a mail ballot, you can actually ask for a mail ballot replacement by mail. And I'll tell you why you may need to do this a little bit later on, okay? But the last day to ask for a replacement of mail ballots will be February 27th. For example, you spill coffee on your ballot, the dog eats your ballot, or maybe you're a no party preference voter, okay? So let me tell you more about that in just a few minutes. Now, voters who miss the registration deadline will have the option to do a conditional voter registration, also known as CVR, at any vote center or at the registrar of voters office in San Jose. And so this has been standard. This has been standard since we implemented the Voters' Choice Act back in November 2020. And so it's really a great benefit to those of you who move into this county late or don't have the time to update. You can do all these things at the vote center as if you were in our office. Now, This is the important thing about primary elections. If you have changed your name or political affiliation, you must re-register to vote. This is so that we can send you the ballot to you, so we can update the information and send, of course, the ballot not just to you, but to the correct address. All right. Now, the second bullet is very important. If you did not declare a party when you registered to vote a while ago, then you are a no party preference voter, also known as an NPP voter. So this is also, many times people call this an independent voter. Okay, but that is not to be confused with the American Independent Party. All right, so what you want to do here is think about no party preference, and that is the key. Okay, meaning that if you are no party preference, you actually have not told us what party you want to vote for. Therefore, you may not vote for what that party has on the ballot for you to vote for. So you'll have to ask for a crossover ballot, for example, if you want to vote for president. Now, if you want to vote in the Green, Peace and Freedom, or Republican Party primaries, you must register by February 20th to get a ballot for that party. Okay, so there is still time for you to update your information and get these things sent to us so we can update everything. Now, going back to no party preference voters and crossovers. So as I mentioned before on the second bullet, NPP voters means they do not get to vote for a presidential primary, choice. Okay, and that is because if you are no party preference, then you don't get a presidential ballot to vote on for any one of the 6 parties. All right, but there is one exception. Okay, for the March 2024 presidential primary election, 3 parties have allowed you to vote for their presidential candidates. Those parties are the American Independent, Democratic, and Libertarian Party. Okay, so basically, any one of you who is a no party preference, you can walk into our vote centers, or you can come into our office and say, I'm an NPP voter, I'm a no party preference voter. I don't have any presidents to vote for or primary presidential selections. What can I do? I need to vote for someone. I'd like to do that. How can I do that? And so I will tell you exactly the same thing. As an NPP voter, you can ask for an American Independent, Democratic, or Libertarian Party. Why is that? Because those are the parties that are allowing crossovers. You cannot ask for the other 3 parties because they're not allowing you to cross over. Okay, but there's another way that you can ask for their party ballot types, and I'll explain that in a second. And so again, no party preference voters who do not request a crossover ballot will receive a primary election ballot without presidential candidates. We established that earlier. Okay. Now, how do you know that you are an NPP voter? Well, we did send out mailers to all of you who are NPP voters a while ago. Okay, and so that mailer was sent to all voters who show up in our registration as no party preference voters. So we sent out hundreds of thousands of these mailers to all of you. You should have received a postcard-sized notice in your mailbox. And please, if you did receive that, do not ignore it. All right. That is the card that is telling you everything that I just explained to you. Okay. Again, that card, that mailer, is reminding you too and letting you know that you are a no party preference voter. Therefore, you will not be able to select a presidential candidate unless you cross over or you re-register under a new party. Okay, and so these were sent out to all of you in December, last December, and then also earlier this year in January. Okay, informed all of you of your no party preference status if you're an NPP voter, informed NPP voters that there's no presidential candidates listed on the ballot, and informed that you can actually cross over to those 3 options. Also, of course, informed all of you how to request a crossover ballot when needed. Okay, so for my notes here. All right, move on to the next slide. Now, how to request a no party preference crossover ballot? There's different ways, okay? For example, you want to vote from home. There's nothing more convenient than voting from home, all right? So how can you do that? The moment you receive your vote by mail ballot and you go through your ballot, and if you notice that you don't have a presidential selection, that's when you finally realize that you are a no party preference voter. In that moment, Okay, you will also have instructions there. Okay, so you'll have instructions that tell you if you wish to vote a crossover party, these are your options. You can call our office, you can come to our office, you can email us saying that you want a different ballot type. For example, a crossover ballot for the American Independent Party, Democratic Party, or Libertarian Party. But if you want a ballot other than these three, then you have to re-register so we can send you a new ballot set for those other parties, which in this case would be the Green, the Peace and Freedom, and Republican parties. Okay, so this is what you can do now. You can do all these things. For example, if you're doing a vote by mail ballot, you can call us at 408-299-VOTE or toll free at 866-430-VOTE, or you can also email us at votebymail@rov.sccgov.org. You can also do this in person. You can come to our office and let us know. You check in the main office and you tell them that, for example, I'm a no party preference voter. I don't have a presidential candidate to select from. Can I please have an American Independent Party ballot, a Democratic or Libertarian? Or again, as I said, if you want the other parties, then you have to re-register. And what we do is we'll give you the registration card and you'll update information right then and there, and we'll be able to give this to you. Okay. Of course, you can also do this in person at the vote centers. All right. So the benefit of the vote centers is that you can do things that you also would be able to do in our office. Okay. And you can actually do this at the vote center up to 10 days before election day. Now, if again, you are a no party preference voter, what you can do is at the vote center, you can, when you check in, you can ask for a crossover ballot type. All right. And what are they again? There you go. American Independent Party, Democratic, and Libertarian Party. All right. Again, some of you will say, but I want to vote, for example, for the Green. I want to vote for the Republican. I want to vote for the Peace and Freedom ballot cards. How can I do that? Very simple. You'll re-register at the vote center. We're going to give you a form. You re-register. And from that point on, we'll have in our archive that you are affiliated with one of those three parties. And then right in the moment, we'll then give you the party ballot type for whichever one of those parties that you selected. Okay. So in that case, then of course you'll have partisan selections, and then you'll be able to select your primary selection for president. Okay. So this is just the different ways that you can ask for a crossover ballot or to update your voter registration in a way. I want to talk about Voters' Choice Act since I mentioned the early voting days and I mentioned the vote centers. So please keep in mind that Santa Clara County has been a Voters' Choice Act county since 2020. In fact, this primary election is the 4-year anniversary of when we first implemented Voters' Choice Act. So what that does, Voters' Choice Act, it modernizes our voting and also allows us to have early voting. So none of the voters in this county have to rush after work at 5 p.m., go to their homes, wherever they live in the county, and then vote before 8 o'clock. Okay. We now have early voting, meaning you can vote up to 10 days before election day. Also with this system, what you can do, voters can vote anywhere where they are in the county. So you're no longer bound by your residential address. In other words, let's say I live in Gilroy, but I work in Mountain View. I don't have to leave my work in Mountain View at 5 p.m. and try to make it home right before 8 o'clock to vote. Okay, I can actually go to Mountain View vote center, check in, and your name and address will show up, and then we'll print you a ballot specific to where you live in Gilroy, and you'll be able to vote for all your local contests and measures and selections for where you live. All right, again, that's a huge benefit of the Voters' Choice Act. And of course, also with this new system, we'll give you more voting mediums to vote at the vote center. All right, I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. All right, so what is vote by mail? Okay, so vote by mail is basically voting from home. So every one of you will get a mail packet. You get to use that from your home that is usually mailed out to voters 29 days before election day. And so all of you will be getting this at different times because again, we have to send about a million of these packets, right? Since there's about 1 million voters in this county. These are sent to all eligible voters to your registered address. And of course, the best thing is that they have paid postage, return paid postage set. So all I have to do is return everything back to the blue envelope, sign it, put your name, put it in the mailbox, or drop it at one of our 102 drop boxes or at any one of our 104 vote centers 10 days before election. Okay, so as you can see, we'll be throughout the county spread out, and you can always reach out to us and drop your mail ballot early at one of our boxes or through post USPS. Okay, and it's that simple, folks. Okay, so again, many of you have been using this. I'm hearing great things. It's so convenient, and it really literally gives you weeks, if not 20 something days, to think about how you really want to vote and then cast your ballot. This is basically what you've seen before, right? So when you get these packets at home, these packets come in a white envelope, okay, a large, bigger than that envelope packet. That's because it contains the ballots, it contains the return envelope, voting instructions, and then a list with the drop boxes and also the vote center list, all right? Also, of course, the very important I voted sticker. So this is what you all will see when you receive it. And now in blue, that's exactly what you have to return back to us, okay? Your voted ballot must be returned by 8 p.m. on election day at the vote center or at a drop box or at USPS mailbox or postmarked on or before election day and then received no later than 7 days after election day. And so you can drop this off at your local USPS box. That's not going to make it was until the next morning or next afternoon. That's okay. As long as it's postmarked by election day, 8 p.m., we're going to get that and then we'll count it. All right. That's the law. That applies for all of California. And so we're able to receive this because it's by mail. And for those of you who wait until the last minute, we'll give you some time to make sure it gets to us and then we'll count it. All right. Up on top here, you can see that we're just make sure that you see that this is prepaid, so you don't have to worry about paying for the postage. Okay, so for this election, we are going to have 104 vote centers. About 23 of these will open on February 24th. That's 2 Saturdays before Election Day. Again, as I said earlier, you can vote at any vote center throughout Santa Clara County. And because we have new modern equipment, you can vote a touchscreen ballot, audio ballot, and cast your ballot on the spot. All right. We do have bilingual ballots and bilingual assistance. It's available to all of you. In any case, our bilingual staff is there to process voters so they can assist you or process voters or do both. Depends on the need of the voters who come into the vote centers. We do provide same-day registration and voting. I mentioned earlier to you, conditional voter registration. Also, you can update your address to vote your local ballot. For example, again, let's say I live in Gilroy and I work in Palo Alto, but I moved to Mountain View, okay? I can go anywhere in Santa Clara County. And let's say, for example, I go to Mountain View and say, hey, I want to vote today, but my address is of Gilroy, but I have just moved to Mountain View. Can I vote a local Mountain View ballot? And of course, yes, you can. All you have to do really is update your address. And once your address is updated at the vote center, we'll know what ballot to pull and print for you. And then we'll give you a ballot for the local measures and contests in that specific area of your address. All right. Also, at any one of the 104 vote centers, you can replace your ballot. So if you spill coffee, if you make a mistake, and now we don't have time to mail it back to us or get another one from us, then you can go to the vote center and get a new ballot at the vote center. All right, so a replacement ballot, really. Now, also another beauty of having this equipment and having vote centers open early is that curbside voting is available. That means for voters who cannot exit their vehicles, we can actually go to you. And so clearly marked at the entrance to the vote center or the area where we can have a car stop, plenty of space, we'll have a sign that says, if you would like to vote from the curbside, please give us a call. Okay, so we're gonna have the local phone number to the lead. You'll call this person, they'll answer, tell them, hey, I need to vote from the curbside. For some reason, I cannot exit my car today. Can you do this for me? And we'll go to you. We'll check you in on our e-poll books, and then we'll bring the voting equipment outside so you can then so you can then vote from your car. All right, so again, this is standard procedure. All this stuff that I've been talking to you is basically been the same now since 2020, all right? And of course, the only difference would be the non-partisan options because primary to primary, those crossover abilities will be different. Returning of your VBM ballot. Okay, so I talked about this earlier. Again, you can actually, I did not. I mentioned to you the drop boxes. So let's talk about that. The drop boxes, they are spread out throughout the county, and there will be 102 official ballot boxes from our office out throughout the community, throughout the county. You'll find them at churches, you'll find them at community centers, you'll find them at service centers, you'll find them at libraries, some schools and colleges, and as much as we can go to. Okay, now these will be available to you on Monday, February 5th. So if you do get your ballot on Monday afternoon and you exactly know how you want to vote, you can actually drop that same ballot on one of these boxes that same night for us to collect the next day and then bring it to the office. Okay, and so these are the boxes. Now you can actually find the list of these drop locations on the VBM packet that we're sending you. Of course, if you prefer to send this by mail, you can do so. Just make sure that you mail it in ahead of election day so that it gets to the post office by 8 p.m. on election night. You can also vote or return the VBM envelope to our office. Our office is at 1555 Burger Drive, San Jose. And again, all these dates that I'm giving you will be available for you to drop in at some point on February 5th, okay? Vote Centers, of course, will start on February 24th. I'll talk more about Vote Centers in a few minutes. Here we go. So vote early, okay? Vote early by mail, all right? We spend time, we send this to you. It's very convenient. You know, the whole friends and family and acquaintances can get together and have discussions on how they all should be voting for. And then you all catch a secret ballot, put it in an envelope, mail it to us. But if you do want to vote in person, come on over to one of our vote centers. Okay, vote centers will open 2 full weekends before election day. Now we don't open all 104 at the same time. We'll open about 23 11-day sites. Those will open on February 24th, and then the remaining 83 vote centers will open then on March 2nd. Okay, and that's the Saturday. So 2 full weekends for all of us to vote early in Santa Clara County. So you can actually have 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays to vote early. So there's no excuse for you to wait until Monday after work to go and vote by your house, because now you can vote anywhere throughout the county, really, at one of our vote centers. You can vote by mail, and of course you can visit our vote centers on the weekend. In fact, some families like to go on the weekend because they can bring their young children and teach them and show them the importance of voting, and they go in together. Okay, so it's nice to see families and showing their children how important voting is. For the early vote centers, work hours will be 9 to 5. Obviously, it's 8 hours straight. We don't stop at lunchtime. We don't go on lunch so that you can vote. So if you are working nearby one of these places, or if you know there's one vote center on your way to work or from work or somewhere on your daily work route, feel free to come in at lunchtime. Okay, we do have plenty of staff at these vote centers, and we stagger them so that even when they're taking their lunch breaks, someone stays behind, obviously, to be at the vote center. So again, 9 to 5. Though for this election, it's the first time we're trying something different, and that is at some locations, about 7 of these locations will be opening from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. All right. How do you know the different hours? Well, you know what? The majority of the vote centers will be from 9 to 5 on a weekday, including Saturday and Sunday, and only about 7 will be opening from 10 to 6. You will be able to see this information on our web page. You will also see the same information on the printed Civic and also on the printed vote by mail list, but that's fixed. Once it's printed, it's printed. But hopefully there'll be no up changes to our vote centers, so everything should remain the same. But in fact, if there are changes, you'll see those changes on our web page. And again, this is why I was saying, always come to our web page. You can find all the information you need on our web page. All right, so now election day. Election day is again Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. What time do the vote centers open? They open at 7 a.m. Okay, what time did it close? 8 o'clock. So early in the morning, if you're already waiting in line at 6:59, you're going to see one of our staff go out and say, hey, it's 7 o'clock, the polls are open. And then same thing at the end of the night, at 8 o'clock, one of us will go outside and say, it's 8 o'clock, the polls are closed for today. Okay, and so that's what's going to happen at the vote centers. I do want to remind you that we do send out mailers to all of you. These are mailers on the Voters' Choice Act, basically just reminding all of you that there's an election coming up. This is the vote by mail starting day. This is the early voting starting day. And this is when the last day to vote is and the hours. That information is translated on the back of it, and you can see all the languages translated. And the most important thing, again, if you find that this information is too compact and you would like to learn more about this, point your cell phone cameras at that QR code, scan it in, and it'll take you to a web page that contains more information that you can then zoom in and zoom out as a web browser. Okay, so these have already been sent to our voters, and they'll be sent again pretty soon to all of you to remind you that there's going to be an election. Obviously, all of you are saying, but everybody knows there's going to be a presidential primary election. True. But again, when we have special elections, not everybody's aware of that. So regardless of the size of the election, special election like we had in November 2023, or a major election like we're going to have in early March, we send these mailers to everyone to make sure that no one forgets that there's an election around the corner. Okay, so recap, just a quick recap of the voting, okay? So vote by mail packets are mailed to voters starting on February 5th. It's really 102 vote centers will be, 102 drop boxes will be available throughout Santa Clara County. Early voting also takes place here in Santa Clara at the ROV office. Vote centers will open Saturday, February 24th. Remember, the key thing to remember is it's 2 Saturdays before election day. So you can actually start voting 2 Saturdays before election day and 2 Sundays before election day. Voting hours, 9 to 5, no stop. Okay, 9 to 5, come on over at lunchtime, break time. It takes you no time to vote. Okay, the only time it's going to take a little bit longer is if you are in a popular area and everyone's waiting until the last minute to vote. Okay, election day, of course, remember, it's 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Very important for you guys to follow through on this date. I have this in here now just to remind you all about how to mark your ballot. Okay, and I'm going to talk more about this later on. But this is a reminder to all of you that we do want you to use a marker that is a fast drying marker, all right? And because we need the ink that you're going to use to fill in the bubble to dry fast so we can then put it through the scanner, okay? If you use like, you know, regular ball pen ink, you know, if people like to fill it completely, it becomes a big blob of paint, and you could smear and you could make it harder for us to see exactly what you want to select. But if you use a fast dry marker, you go through that, you fill in that bubble, and you're done, okay? Same thing, of course, for the write-in voting. So write-in voting, make sure you write in that area where you're supposed to write in the voting information. Now, for write-in voters, that information, we don't get that official confirmation until about a week or 10 days before election day. And so anyone that wants to be a write-in, officially certified write-in, will then give a piece of paper with all those names to each vote center. And so those will be clearly indicated at the vote center of who's been added to the ballot at the last minute. And that is what we call a write-in voter. Now, we do have bilingual ballots. Okay, we do provide support in many languages. This is why we're doing this voter workshop these language workshops, because we want many of you to understand how important voting is, to understand your options, and to make you feel comfortable about voting and coming to vote center, or knowing what to do when you receive that VBM packet at home. Okay, it's super simple. All right, now, if you do need assistance, we can provide that in Chinese, English, Hindi, Japanese, Khmer, Korean, Spanish, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. These languages, we support them in person at the vote centers. Also, we provide paper ballots, touchscreen ballots, and audio ballots in all these languages. We do also have other languages that we support in terms of staffing, and those are Gujarati, Punjabi, Nepali, Telugu, and Tamil. And for those voters, we don't have a paper touchscreen audio ballot, but we do have facsimile paper ballots. And so those will list all the options they can vote for and translate it into those 5 languages. So this again is standard. We've had this now for a few years, and anyone that needs one of these, by all means, all you have to do is ask for one of these languages. These are the only approved languages, so therefore we provide assistance or ballots in these languages. But when it comes to languages, if anyone volunteers to work with us and they speak French or German or any other language, we'll also add them to the vote center. So chances are we'll have more bilingual support than I'm listing right here, right now. What I'm showing you now is just a quick screenshot of our new updated vote center. All right, I'm sorry, not vote center, of our updated web page. What we have here is a new look. It's more concise. Everything's been put together in a better setup to find what you need. Basically, you need to come to a web page and click on one of the tabs at the top. What are you interested? You want to register to vote? Well, guess what? That's the tab you go to. You want to do an outreach? You want to help us out? You want to volunteer for outreach? Click on the Get Involved tab. Okay. You want to learn more about vote by mail? You want to see where you can drop off your vote by mail ballot somewhere nearby you? Sure. Click on the Vote by Mail tab and you will have the list and also an application where you can enter an address and it'll show you where you can go to drop off that ballots. Okay. What if you want to find out more about the March election? Easy. Go to the Elections tab, click on it, and guess what? You'll find the March 5th, 2024 presidential primary election. And then you go to it and you scroll down and you'll see everything that you need to see on this page. Okay. And so everything will be listed right here. Now, since I was already at this page is a draft of what you'll be able to see once we have the vote center list ready for the public. This page will be under the Vote in Person tab, okay? And this is because it's regarding vote centers. So vote centers for you to vote in person, then it should be under the Vote in Person tab. What we have here is the list, but it's been split into two lists, one for 11-day and the other one for the 4-day vote centers, and of course for everything. So what you can do here, you can also see all of these lists by clicking on the download full list of the official vote center locations. Okay, this what we did in here is easier for you to see because obviously, let's say it's February 26th. It's still 2 weeks to go before election, so you only want to look at the 11 days vote center. Click on this one, you'll see only the 11 days. All right. Otherwise, if you see the whole list of 104, you'll have to go and look for the ones that are 4 days and 11 day centers. All right. So this is much easier for all of you to see now. Not yet live, but soon we'll publish our vote center list. This is the same concept for the drop box. This is actually ready because the drop boxes are set and ready to go. Okay, they're not yet at the site, but once we get close to election day or to the date that we deploy these will be sent out and then available for you to drop the ballots. You can find all of these by clicking on the Vote by Mail tab and then clicking on the list or the list of all the vote centers, of all the drop boxes. This is an application that we have. It's very handy for those of you who want to find a location nearby you. Okay, so let's say that you are working outside of your usual office. You're somewhere, let's say you go to a conference, let's say you have a meeting, let's say you have to, go to a school meeting for your children or anything like that, and you have a vote by mail ballot in your hands, or you have time, you're ready to vote, and you want to find out where's the nearest drop box or where's the nearest vote center. You can go to this application, enter the address of where you're going to be, or if you want somewhere where you are, you can just leave it as is, and then it'll tell you what's near you. Okay, and you can set the distance of miles close to you. Okay, and it will tell you what's available to you. And of course, this is a great tool to have. Many people do use these. It's not yet operational because we don't have the vote center list, but again, as soon as it's published, this will be available to all of you, and it's super, super simple and super beneficial, specifically if you are out and about in the county somewhere. Accessible voting, so just be informed that all of our vote centers are accessible to voters who may have any disabilities, okay? And so we follow the Secretary of State's guidelines. Everything we do, we have to follow, we have to survey, we have to make sure that everything meets certain criteria, and we make these sites available to all voters, all right? So this is something important for you to remember. We look for parking, we look to entrances, we look to the ramps, If we do need to bring ramps, we'll bring ramps. And so we look into different things that need to be considered to make sure that the vote center is available to all. Again, I want to show the Sharpie, and that's because some of you say, well, again, why do I need to use the Sharpie? My point with this slide again is to make sure that you understand the reason why we like you to use a Sharpie is because the ink is going to dry super fast. Okay, and don't worry about the ink blotting over to the other side. It's not going to do that because unlike an ink, a ball pen, for example, once you mark the bubble with the marker, it's completely filled and dry, and that's it. You don't have to overdo it. Okay, and also if it does blot over to the other side, you know, next time you go vote, look at our ballots. The ballots are made so that the selections on one side do not overimpose over the other side selections. Okay, so it's always made so that there's a gap so that nothing is compromised. Okay, and of course, for me, if you are coming to vote at the vote center, I am asking that you do use these Sharpies because then the ink will dry fast and go through the scanner and not get scanner dirty. All right. Now, let me talk about this Voters' Choice Act. Okay, so Voters' Choice Act also introduces new voting technology, which of course is available now throughout the country. And what you see in here is our touchscreen voting. The touchscreen voting contains or is made of the touchscreen voting machine, the printer, and then an audio kit controller. All right, that audio controller is going to allow anyone who wants to vote an audio ballot to then make the selections via that controller. What happens here is that you have access to this screen. The screen is going to give you the ability to zoom in and zoom out of the contests. Also, you can go back and forth without making selections, or you can make selections, go back and forth, and if you decide to change the selection, go back, go forth, and change the selection. Okay, so this is better than paper because on paper, you have that one time try. If you fill it in the way you want to vote, it's all set. And then if you change, you have to replace that ballot. Whereas here on electronic touchscreen voting machine, you can actually make whatever choices you want. And as long as you haven't cast your ballot, you'll be able to go back and make edits. All right. Now, when you're done with that selection, you'll then print the ballot and the ballot will come out of the printer and then you'll bring it to the scanner. This is a touchscreen voting machine itself. Okay. Look at that yellow slot at the bottom. That is where you insert the card. So remember though, to vote at this touchscreen voting machine, voters, all they have to do really is check in, go to the DeepL book, give your name, confirm your address, and for this selection, because it's a primary, confirm that you do have a party selection. If not, if you are no partisan, no party preference voter, then you can select for a crossover. Or if you want a different ballot type from a different party, you have to re-register to get that ballot type. Okay. Regardless, though, of whatever party you want, tell them that you want to do electronic voting or touchscreen voting. They'll then activate an ATM style card. You'll bring that here, insert it, and it will allow you to vote a specific ballot for where you live. Okay. The benefit, the biggest benefit that I see in here is three really. You can zoom in and zoom out, so it's easier to see the font. And of course, you can make selections and then change as needed. Okay. And then number three, it's much faster. All right. You can actually vote faster. Okay. And we can see a trend really, you know, I see that more people actually with every passing year, every passing election, more people want to vote on this machine because it allows them to move around much faster and then cast your ballot types. Okay. Now here again, just to remind you, these are the languages we have. The other languages, if you do want those languages, then we only have available as facsimiles. This is the audio voting controller. This is what you'll be using to, or anyone that asks to vote an audio ballot, this is what they'll be using. And so it's pretty much standard at this point, standard in the industry. So these, it's hard to tell here scale-wise, but these are, it's a pretty big controller so that people can feel it. So it's very haptic. You can actually go and feel the buttons. Of course, they're in color. And some of you will say, well, but why is it in color? Because those who are visually impaired still have the ability to see shapes, colors, and so forth. So different abilities or different, you know, degrees of inability to see this visually still allows you to actually recognize shapes and colors. So that will be helpful for anyone who asks for audio ballot. Casting the ballot. So this is when you actually cast the ballot type. Okay, this is when you cast your ballot. This is when you finally have made your decision, and this is now when you have voted in this democracy. All right, this is, of course, you put in your ballot. It's going to remind you and say, okay, is this what you selected? You review it, you say yes. If you're ready to cast, you press the green button, you cast the ballot. If you'd like to review it again, you press return, it kicks back your ballot, you take another look, it's all good, put it back, it asks you again if this is ready to be cast, and you press the green button, and your ballot is cast. Once the ballot goes into this machine, that's it. You have now cast your ballot. I do want to talk about the County Voter Information Guide. Again, when I talked about the mailers earlier, there was just one item that we sent to you, but we do have many different pieces of information that we send out to the voters. Okay, this is nothing new to most of you. You already know about this, but this is the County Voter Information Guide that we refer to as the CVIG. This is sent in all 5 languages, depending on what you've put down on your registration card. If on your voter registration card you don't have any language preference, then you only get the English. If you do say that you want to, for example, I'd like to see something Vietnamese, then we'll send you one in English and also another one in Vietnamese, because these are not bilingual. These are in one specific language. All right. Again, on this County Voter Information Guide, it's very important that you keep it. Okay. Inside, you will see what you have to vote for in your specific area. So this is not one CVIG for all 5 million voters. This is one CVIG that is going to show you what you can vote for in your ballot for your residence. Okay, that's got your address in. And so this is important that you use this, because they'll give you, many of you like it because you use it basically as a sample ballot. So you get to see what's going on. You can make your notes and so forth. But also inside here, you'll see the list for the vote centers and also the VBM drop boxes. Okay, so very, very important. Do keep these when you see these in your mailbox. And so in your household, if there's 2 of you, you're going to get 2 of these. If there's 5 people that are voting age, then you're going to get 5 of these. Okay, and if one of them has asked for a specific language, then we're going to send another one in a specific language. Okay, but then again, we spend a lot of time putting this together for all of you to better understand what's going to be in the ballot. So please take the time to read these and see what's going to be in your ballot. Again, I'm almost done here, but before I go, I do want to remind you all that no party preference voters have an option. Okay, you can cross over. Okay, remember, voters whose registration does not specify a party are considered no party preference voters. You will not have a presidential candidate on those ballots. If you do want to vote for president, then you have to select, and you want to remain a no party preference voter, you can cross over by asking the American Independent ballot, Democratic ballot, or Libertarian Party ballot. But if you want one of the other 3 parties, which are the Green Party, the Republican Party, or the Peace and Freedom Party, then what you have to do at that time at the vote centers, you have to update your information. Okay, so you basically complete a VARF. If you're new, you complete a registration card, and then you select one of the 6 parties. Okay, and if you do want those 3 parties, Republican, Peace of Freedom, or Green, then you make that selection on the registration card, and we'll allow you to vote that specific party ballot type. Okay, what I'm telling you is available also on our webpage. If you are a no party preference voter, you have received mailers from us, so please go through your mailbox and find these. Do not throw these away. And also, if you do come to our office, you'll see the information on the counters. If you go to the vote centers, you'll see this little pocket guide that we have available to all of you at the vote centers. Okay, and this will tell you exactly what you can do. Also, at the vote centers, if you wait until the last minute, we'll have a flyer that's going to give you, okay, these are the actions that you can take if you are a no party preference voter. Okay, but please be reminded that we did send this mailer to many of you. The information also is going to be in your CVIG, so please do take the time to get information from us that we're going to send you, and then take the necessary steps to make sure that you get the ballot that you want, or update your address if you did move around the county. As a reminder, last day to vote, or last day to register to vote, is February 20th. All right, so that's about less than a month to go now. You can register online at registertovote.ca.gov. So this is the state's line. So you register with them, the information is sent to us, and we'll be able to process. If you'd rather vote, or sorry, excuse me, if you'd rather register in person, you can come to our office and do so in person at our voter registration division office. I want to remind you all that again, since it's a county entity, since it's a county building, since it's a county facility, and we're all work for the county, and I want to remind you all that if the Santa Clara County Public Health gives us new guidelines concerning, the flu, concerning COVID, if anything does happen in the public health place, and we're told that everybody needs to wear a mask, then guess what? Santa Clara County Public Health will make that announcement and will follow through at the vote centers. As of now, of course, we don't anticipate any one of these measures being needed, but I want to take this time to remind you all that at each vote center, we do have hand sanitizers and we do have free face masks. So if you do have the need to use one of these, by all means, ask the friendly staff at the vote centers to assist you, and they'll be able to provide you these items to you. I want to remind you too all that you can also register to vote online. I'm sorry, you can register online, but also we have a presence online and in the social media, okay? Visit our webpage and also please tag us when you vote, tag us when you have information about voting, add to your tag SCC Vote, that's Santa Clara County Vote. We're also on X or Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and also Nextdoor, okay? Also on YouTube, you will find some how-to videos, though we're in the process of updating those, and we'll have new content at some point, okay? But then again, do tag us when you do vote, and you tell all of your friends that you've finally voted, that you got it, that you voted early. Do tag us on your social media posts to say, I voted early, and it was great, it was a breeze, it was easy. Everybody did not wait until the last minute, come and vote early, and then hashtag us at SCC Vote, okay? It is the only way to make sure that we have more people understanding the process in Santa Clara County and be reminded to vote early as they can. Also, we do have the Go Green with the ROV. This is for those of you who want to help us save paper. The civics that I showed you earlier, we send those out to each one of you voters. And as you heard me before, if I have 1 million voters, we send 1 million of those booklets. But you can actually forego that option and instead get an actual PDF option, okay? And that is by using our Go Green initiative, which is instead of us mailing you a paper civic, we'll give you the link to the PDF that you can have on your phone, and then you can read anywhere you go. At the grocery line, you can read it. When you're when you're waiting for the bus or train or something, you can read everything. You don't have to keep track of this actual booklet, okay? All right, this is it. So I'm sorry, there's only about 5 minutes left, but let me see if anyone has any questions that I can assist you with, okay? Let me stop the share, exit my PowerPoint, and let's see if we have any questions. Okay, is there, oops, no, don't leave. Click the wrong button. All right, so do we have any questions?
No questions at this time.
Oh, thank you, Jose. Okay. So then I want to say thank you to all of you who are attending this meeting. It's so nice to see the audience interest, okay? And I want to remind you all again that these voter language workshops are important to many, to all of us. The more of us vote, the better. That means you have a balanced, community out there voting for what they think is the best option out there. And so, we need to continue voting. We need to do as much as we can to ensure that everybody is aware of voting in Santa Clara County. Okay, I'm just looking for my flyer because I do want to show you the flyer again. So anyways, that's pretty much it. So again, do check your mailboxes, specifically with the younger crowd. I will say that because maybe someone that is a young voter, they may not be aware because they haven't voted a primary election. And also when they register to vote, they may not have selected a party affiliation because they thought, oh, I want to be independent. I'm not quite sure which of the 6 parties I would like to vote for. I'll leave that blank for now, which is fine. But now we are on a primary election. And therefore, if they remain as what they think, they call themselves as independent voter, all that means is that on your ballot, there'll be what we call the no party preference voters. Therefore, no party selections available to these voters. And so they'll not be able to select a voter, okay? I'm sorry, they'll not be able to select a primary presidential candidate. And so what they need to do is they need to update the information or call us and ask us for the crossover ballot type, okay, that they want. So this is crucial, it's important. And I think, again, obviously this not only affects the younger, newer voters, but it affects any one of us that is not, that is an NPP voter. And by the way, I am a no party preference voter. So I'm in the process of updating my information so that I get the correct ballot type that I want to vote for my specific choices, okay? And so that is important that we do that. Let me see one more try. Any questions, anyone? No? Okay. Oh, sorry, on chat. No, there's nothing in there. Okay. All right, then I want to say again, thank you to all of you for showing up today. And I think this concludes our presentation tonight. So I want to say again, thank you to our great team at the Registry of Voters. We all worked very hard to make sure our voters have a good experience, that they understand that we do everything we can, and that we follow our election code book. Okay, our election code book tells us what to do, and so we do it as best as we can. And the same thing for all the other counties in state of California. So thank you so much all for joining us. We hope that you vote early. I don't want to see you at the vote center, vote early, okay? 1 million of us, let's all not wait until election day. Do vote early. You have 29 days to vote your vote by ballot, and then you can start voting in person at the vote center 2 weekends before election day. And so again, I don't want to meet you after election day and say, oh, I ran out of time to vote. You have plenty of time to vote. So everyone vote early, okay? All right, thank you so much. About 2 minutes to go. So I think I'm just gonna call it a meeting. Again, it's been great. Thank you so much. Stay tuned tomorrow. Tomorrow's voter language workshop will be in Chinese and Ruth will be presenting that one, okay? All right, good night, everyone. Thank you so much. And we'll see you all around. Bye.
All of